Well, the win streak was going to end at some point, but that was ugly. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. My name is Teddy Gonzalez, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Colby Patnode. Mariners lose 7-1 to the Mets this afternoon. Their 8-game win streak has officially and unfortunately been snapped. JP Crawford goes 3 for 4 and falls just a triple shy of the cycle in this one. However, the rest of the Mariners lineup was only able to collect 3 hits. On top of that, they played some pretty sloppy ball. Off day tomorrow, then the Mariners will hit the road, and overall the vibes are still really good after a 5-1 homestand and, of course, the 8-game win streak. But this loss, Colby, did feel all too familiar because it wasn't just a matter of things finally catching up to the Mariners and just getting got by the Mets. They also played some really bad baseball today.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a game that we're all too familiar with. We see, prior to this 8-game win streak, we had seen them play this exact game probably on average at least once a week, sometimes even twice a week, where it's just sloppy defense. The at-bats are terrible. They get some guys on, and then the at-bats get worse once guys get on base. The pitching is mediocre, and it just kind of feels like they just kind of right off the game in the 5th inning and they go into cruise control and they just try to get the game over with. And there's never really much punch, and they just kind of lay down and die. And that's it.
I got a question for you. When was the last time the Mariners had a game like when the Padres came back against the Mariners in the 9th inning, a month or so ago? Like, when was the last time the Mariners had a game like that at home? That Astros game where Randy had the walk-off walk? But that wasn't really That wasn't really a 9th inning comeback. I'm talking about where they're down by like 5 runs or something, and then they make a massive comeback.
The game against Houston earlier this year, they were down by 5.
Yeah, but that was kind of like over the course. But that was also like kind of over the course of the game. I'm more so talking about like in the late innings, like maybe it's like the 8th inning.
Yeah. Oh, like when did they act like the Padres did against them?
Yeah. That's why
I don't think that's happened this year. No, they've had a gradual comeback. They like chipped their way back into games and then won them late. I mean, they just.
I'm not talking about this year. I'm just talking about in general. Like, when was the last time the Mariners like had a game like that where like
it probably was that Randy one? I mean, he had a grand slam and then.
Yeah, Julio, it was like in the 7th or 8th or something like that. Yeah.
It was the 8th. And then Julio still needed the 2-run RBI double off of Abreu because Houston scored 1 in the top of the 9th. And so they got 2 back. And then, Randy won it on the walk-off walk. So, I think that's probably it. There's probably some big game we're forgetting, just like totally spacing. Maybe one of the Astros game. Now they dominated the Astros down in Houston. Anyways, they haven't had a game like that. So, once this team gets down by 4 or 5, if they're down by 1 run, like my kind of thing is like, if they have 5 innings left, right? If they're down by more than 5, the game is over. If they have 3 innings left and they're down by more than 3, the game is over. That's just kind of like the calculus in my head. But today's game ended pretty early. If we're being honest, the vibes were just terrible from really the first pitch of this game. And again, it was just a whole bunch of sloppiness, a whole bunch of, some bad BABIP luck that did go your way, or that didn't go your way, I should say. And George would certainly, tell you that. I have here in my notes that of the 9 hits George Kirby gave up, 6 of them were on balls that were 90 miles an hour or less off the bat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he gave up 6 hard hit balls, but which is, not a huge number, but in 4 innings, it's not great. But again, of the 9 hits, 6 of them were not hard hit or not classified as hard hit. So, again, just kind of one of those games. Obviously, you have the double that bounces off the corner of first base and, all of that. But, it's Naylor making the throwing error to lead to the first run. It's, it's George kind of piping some fastballs, getting really heavy on the first pitch curveball, which the Mets made their adjustment to, and they were able to collect some hits. Again, not necessarily hard hit balls, but as it goes, sometimes just, hit and runs, the skimmer up the middle with the bases loaded, that if it was hit 2 feet to the right or the left, might've been a double play. Like, it was just kind of one of those games on top of the Mariners playing just terrible baseball. So it all kind of snowballed, and that's how you get blown out by a bad Mets team. So again, it's one of those things where it's like, this happens, it's probably going to happen again multiple times throughout the year. And the Mariners are probably going to go through some 5-game losing streak at some point. That's going to have us questioning whether or not this team is truly a contender or not. That's baseball. That specifically is Mariners baseball to a T.
Yeah.
The last 3 or 4
years. They'll break me again. They
They'll
built
be
me
5
up
games
just
under 500 at some point this year. Don't worry about it.
Maybe not that significant, but hopefully not that significant. But they will build. They have built me up, and they will break me once again.
They
just
will
for them
have
to
3
win.
games in a row, like tonight, at some point this year.
Yeah, and then they'll win like 16 of their next 18 after they break me.
Hopefully, they don't have to do that. But I mean, look, again, they just won 8 in a row. Obviously, that got snapped tonight. So they just won 3 series in a row, and that's all we care. Just win series.
Yeah.
So this loss is certainly cushioned by, the previous week plus of how good baseball they played. But it's still annoying that we have to sit and watch this type of baseball seemingly every single week, at least once a week, if not twice a week. And I think it is a symptom of the flaws of this baseball team. We see what happens when they pitch, when they hit home runs, when they play like they're designed to play. They could blow out teams, and they could blow out good teams. They could blow out hot teams. They could blow out, teams that can pitch. They could blow out teams that can hit. Like they're fully capable of beating anybody in baseball. But when they don't play clean, when they make some mental mistakes, when things start to snowball on them a little bit, they can get beat by anybody, absolutely anybody in this sport. Their lows are as low as, Colorado, and their highs, they're every bit as good as the Yankees or the Rays, probably better than the Rays, who, by the way, have lost 8 of 10, including getting swept by Detroit, who you're going to go play on Friday for the ever so famous 9-game East Coast road trip, which we know always goes well for the Mariners. The 9-game
10 games.
The 10-game, 9-game, whatever. The 3 series East Coast road trip with no days off famously goes well for the Mariners. Famously. It is especially the 10 a.m. kickoff of the pre-Pete Carroll Seahawks. So we'll see how that goes this time. You're playing 3 bad teams. Detroit, Washington, and Baltimore.
Two bad teams.
Washington.
Nationals Nationals pretty good right now.
Yeah, they're okay. But look, there are 3 teams you should beat. You should win all 3 of these series. So hopefully they do no worse than 4-6. I don't even want to imagine they're going to go 6-4 because it's an East Coast road trip. The Mariners don't do that on the East Coast. I guess the good news is this isn't happening in August. I think they have one in August though. But anyways, just kind of a game you want to forget. But unfortunately, the Mariners have played this exact game so many times that they kind of get seared into the back of your head. And, maybe they don't end up being a big deal, but we get later into the year and you're battling for the West, or you're battling for, the 1 seed or versus the 2 seed versus the 3 seed or whatever it is. Those games do start to add up, as we like to see, the nickels and dimes, they turn into dollars real fast throughout a season. And the Mariners have played this game way too often for a team that's supposed to be as good as they are. And it's a team that has shown that they can't be as good as really anybody out there. So just frustrating. But again, because it comes at the end of the long win streak, it is cushioned a little bit. It's a little bit easier of a pill to swallow.
I didn't realize the Nationals were back under 500.
Yeah, they lost today, I think, to Dip. Yeah.
Yeah. Like last time I checked, they were like 3 games over, something like that. Mm-hmm. So it must be on a little bit of a slide. Anyway, still, dangerous team. Orioles are a dangerous team. Sure. Tigers, they're super beat up, but they just swept the Rays, who are one of the best. So, so, hopefully
Framber Valdez on the mound on Friday.
Yeah. Hopefully you cut this off at the pass though, with the off day before you go out on the road. So this is only for now. Today's loss is only potentially concerning. Some of the signs that we saw today are just only potentially concerning. But yeah, again, like you said, it's a loss that we've seen a lot over the course of the season, and you just kind of knew it was going to be one of them ones when it started. They're in that Bo Bichette at bat, the check swing that absolutely should have been called a swing and wasn't. Like, what are we doing? And then he fouls off a bunch of pitches after that and singles, and then, Naylor's error and so on and so forth. It just kind of unraveled from there. Yeah. And then, JP, ties the game up with his homer. 10th home run for JP Crawford, by the way. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But so it's like, okay, new ball game. They only, the Mets only came away with one out of the first inning. Okay, let's settle back down now. We got things kind of back in control a little bit here. And then the third inning, JP doubles. He was really the only guy that really had Freddie Peralta figured out today. 3 hits off of Peralta for JP. He doubles, and then Julio walks, but then Naylor pops out to foul territory, and then Randy grounds into the double play. And it's just like, there we go. And then of course the Mets come back and score 4 right after that. And at that point, Freddie Peralta's on the bump. That's one of the best pitchers in the game. Yeah, today's probably not going to go well for you.
No, I think the Naylor at bat came after they dropped 4. It was like the next inning, so it was their chance to get back into the game, if I'm remembering correctly.
No, because JP doubled, Julio walked. That would brought up Naylor.
I'm pretty sure they were down 5-1.
I think that was the bottom of the third, and then the Mets put up 4 in the top of the fourth.
I don't think so. Maybe whatever. Either way, I think they were down, but doesn't really matter all that much. The Josh Naylor at bat, by the way, symptomatic of a very, very bad day for him, but also for everybody on the team. I mean, Josh Naylor was not the only one who played poorly today, but Peralta had just thrown 6 straight balls, and he threw a 7th to Naylor. Wasn't even a fastball. It was a changeup. Naylor swung through it, and then he got a fastball middle of the plate, and he just popped it up like that right there. That was the ball game. Like at that point, it was you were toast. That is just not an acceptable at bat from anybody, but especially not from your $95 million a year guy, or not a year, $95 million contract guy who you're paying to hit cleanup. Like he has to have a better at bat than that. It's bad game for him, bad game for pretty much everybody on the Mariners squad today. So again, he's not really worth being, getting upset about, but it is a little eyebrow raising, it's certainly frustrating to be like, man, what are you doing? Peralta was letting you right back in that game, and you just kind of let him off the hook. Sucks. But sometimes that is just baseball, but it's not just baseball if it happens 20 times. At that point, it's a bit of a problem. So we'll see what direction it goes. But hopefully they just win a series against the Tigers and get right back at it.
I was right, by the way. It was the bottom of the third, and then the Mets put up 4 in the top of the fourth. Don't doubt me. Don't doubt me. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at the summary. Okay. Don't doubt me. All right. So coming up, we're going to talk more about JP Crawford. We'll talk a little bit more about George Kirby before we get out of here in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by KALSHI and FanDuel. Baseball season is here, and now you can trade every game on KALSHI. On Friday, Seattle is trading at 56% to beat Detroit, meaning a $100 trade pays out $167 if they win. On KALSHI, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the KALSHI app and use the promo code LOCKEDON. That's LOCKEDON to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI. KALSHI. Trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory. The NBA playoffs are here and every possession matters. If you're looking to get even closer to the action, FanDuel has a great offer to get you started. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right, turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. I like using FanDuel during the playoffs because everything I need is right there in one place. You can check stats, trends, and matchups before making your picks, which makes the whole experience feel a lot more informed. And whether you're looking at player props or just following your favorite stars, it adds another level of excitement to every game. It's a really easy app to navigate, and it makes playoff basketball even more engaging from start to finish. And if you're going with New York for the upset to win it all, you can get them right now at +160. So head to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you so much for making us your first listen for all things Mariners. And also thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Don't forget to check out the Everydayer Club for ad-free episodes and access to a group chat with me and other listeners of this show. Tap the link in the description or go to lockedonmariners.supercast.com to learn more. And if you want to hear from me and Colby even more and help support the show, we have a Patreon. It's called Control the Zone. On there, we talk Mariners, Seahawks, all that good stuff. For more information, go to patreon.com/control the zone. Link in the description of this episode. So JP Crawford, again, falls just a triple shy of the cycle today. Was fantastic against Freddie Peralta. Home run there in the first inning, double in a second at bat. Now his slash line is up to 224, 355, 406. Colby, that is a 124 WRC plus. He's striking out just 19% of the time, walking 14.7% of the time. Obviously, that batting average is not great. You want to see that a bit higher, but the on base is great. He's slugging over 400 now. He's got 10 home runs already. His career high is 19 back in that incredible season that he had in 2023 when he had a 136 WRC plus. JP going to mess around and hit a career high in home runs this season?
Probably. I mean,
Contract
you want to be the
year,
third
JP?
baseman. You want to be the third baseman of the future for the Seattle Mariners. You got to hit for some more pop.
I mean, he's
And-
kind of producing like a third
He's
baseman
on
right
like
now.
25 home run pace.
Yeah.
And if you're going to hit 25 homers and have an on base in the 350, 360 range, I don't really care what your batting average is. Like that'll play. As long as you're not like, I mean, we say as long as you're not a terrible defender, but I mean, like he's your shortstop. So, you know. But obviously, you know, the bat has to be more special if you're going to be a terrible defender at third base. Like the bat has to be like incredible to carry that because that's a spot where you need more punch from. But yeah, JP's been really good this year again, mostly in the power department, but he's taken a ton of walks too. It just, he hasn't really gotten the opposite field single, right? The kind of the famous like soft line drive over the third baseman's head into left field over the shortstop's head. Not a ton of those for JP this year. But obviously, you know, hitting the ball very hard, drawing walks. He doesn't look any different. So part of this to me is that he's actually, you know, getting fewer hits, but the hits that he is getting are more impactful. And I also think though that the hits that he normally gets are going to show up too at some point. Like I don't think he's going to go from a career 260 hitter to a 202 hitter. You know, I really don't see that happening unless he really is selling out for power. And I don't get that sense when I watch him swing.
Because especially he's not striking out more. You know, he's striking out well within his career norms right now.
Yeah,
he's a career 18.6% K rate guy. He's at 19% right now. So it's gone up by 0.4. That's negligible.
Yeah, that's a margin of error thing. That's like a rounding thing. But yeah, I mean, JP will pick his spots where he will swing for the fences, certainly. But it doesn't seem like he's doing it every single time. So I actually expect the average to go up a little bit more. Maybe the home runs slow down. They probably will. I really don't think JP is going to hit 30 or whatever he's on pace to do. Probably a little less than 30 now. But yeah, but I do think that JP's been very good offensively. I think he'll continue to be good offensively. And I do think the average will rise. So there's maybe a shot we see a new career year from JP Crawford.
Yeah, I mean he's 12 points off from his career high in WRC plus right now. Mm-hmm. And again, just needs 10 more homers to surpass his current career high, which is 19 from 2023. His second highest home run total, 12 last year. So he's going to clear that, you know, unless, you know, knock on wood, he gets hurt. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it'll be,
he might clear that, you know, in a couple of weeks, honestly. Yeah.
Might clear it in Detroit. Well, he's hitting home runs, maybe.
Yeah. Who knows?
Probably off of Framber. Could be fun.
JP left on love homers. Love them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with JP when Brendan Donovan comes back in terms of where they hit him in the lineup.
He looks really comfortable in the leadoff spot. That's where he's been at his best this year. So
it's maybe one of those things. It's like, we don't want to hit the lefties 1-2, but it's like, okay, well, JP's pretty good against lefties. So it's not like you have two, you know, platoon bats hitting 1 and 2, and you're not going to take Donovan out against most lefties either. So, you maybe double stack him. Obviously, he can go back to hitting 9 and you get the same effect with the kind of double stack thing. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Obviously, a couple more weeks from Donovan, at least at minimum. So not a decision they have to make anytime soon. And again, not really a problematic decision. I don't anticipate that. But do they have JP hit like 6th? Would they consider that, or is it 1st or 9th? Are those the only two options, or might he hit 6, or might he be the bridge to the? I mean, if you feel good about Cole Young and Colt Emerson at the bottom of your lineup, I mean, you get a little more pop in the middle there. So we'll see what they do with him. But yeah, JP's been very good offensively this year. I think there's still a little bit more there because I do think the batting average will go up a little bit. Maybe he's not a 260 hitter, maybe he's 230, 240 hitter, but I still think he's going to get there, and that would include more hits to go along with probably more increased power. So we'll see how it looks over the next few weeks. But yeah, JP swinging a hot bat and very much adding a lot of thump to the top of your lineup. And it's great. And you really haven't felt the effects of not having him at the bottom of your lineup because Colt Emerson has come up and played really well. Mm-hmm. We didn't get to talk about it because it happened in last night's game, but Colt Emerson had arguably his best game last night. And, yeah, I mean,
on both ends,
that game better? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that game better than his 4-hit game? Because he made 2 incredible defensive plays to go with it. Like, maybe. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, a couple more weeks before you get Donovan back. Sounds like, I mean, probably again for Donovan, probably July 1 is when I would start to think there's a real possibility here. Sounds like it might be a little sooner for Cal. We did get some news on him. I don't know if we're talking about that today or tomorrow, but probably
a little
relatively good news. Yeah, relatively good news on Cal that we'll dive into tomorrow. But JP, really good night. Everybody else on offense.
Not so much.
One to forget.
Not so much. But yeah, JP right now on pace to hit 25.7 home runs. So we'll call it 26.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, one other player who had a good game, Dom Canzone. He had a ball hit, I believe, at 115 today or 114.7. And I think he had another one at the 110, 111 mark, give or take.
112.9. So 113.
So a 115 and a 113.
Yeah.
Dom Canzone's one of my favorite players to watch hit because he either looks or he just like hits the ball harder than anybody you've ever seen before. And sometimes those happen on the same swing. So you never really know what's going to happen with Canzone at bat. So he's a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, sometimes he looks like he's swinging a pool noodle up there, and sometimes it looks like he's just, swinging Stormbreaker in Wakanda up there. Like it really is wild to see. Yeah, that's right. It really is wild to see Dom Canzone swing the bat sometimes.
Swinging Stormbreaker in Wakanda. That's a new one. Mm-hmm. All right. Lastly, before we get out of here. There you go. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. Before we get out of here, George Kirby, another rough one for him. Mm-hmm. Now 4 straight starts where it's been pretty rough. The Diamondback start last Friday, 5 1/3, 4 earned runs on 6 hits. The Royals start 3 earned runs, 5 runs in total on 9 hits and 6 innings. And then the Padres start before that, gave up 6 earned runs on 6 hits in 5 2/3. Today only goes 4 innings. And again, like you mentioned, had a lot of bad luck against him. So it wasn't entirely, his fault, but gives up 4 earned runs, 5 in total on 9 hits, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 6 hard hit balls.
Yeah, this
year was really going well for him, and now the last 4 starts have just things have kind of been derailed here, and now his ERA is over 4. Just it's unfortunate.
In each of his last 4 starts as well, he's had a blow up inning. The one in San Diego, he had a blow up inning. The blow up inning in his start previous to this happened in the 5th, where he couldn't get out of that inning. Obviously, today it was the 4th. So yeah, he's looked okay, and then he'll just have 1 inning where everything kind of gets away from him. It snowballs on him, and he can't get out of it, and that pretty much ruins the rest of his day. Again, today, some bad luck. 6 of the 9 hits he gave up were on not hard hit balls. I believe the highest exit velo on the hits that he gave up that weren't hard hit balls was 91. So, there was a couple hit and runs. There was the routine ground ball that kicked off the bag at first base and rolled into right field for a double. the skimmer up the middle with the bases loaded, that if it was, 3 feet to either direction, probably is a double play. Like it just, kind of sucks. And it does happen sometimes, but yeah, George hasn't been good. I mean, you talk about all those breaks, he was still throwing, even if all those breaks go his way, he's still taking 20, 22 pitches an inning to get through 4, even with all those breaks. So yeah, it was pretty disappointing start from George. He continues to kind of be going through it right now, which is not great, especially as, Logan is still not yet put together 3 super quality starts in a row. So, puts a lot of pressure on Brian Wu and obviously Emerson Hancock and the piggyback, which will not be a thing for the next couple of weeks. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, Kirby on the plus side did have a 31% whiff rate on his 4-seam today. So that's really good, obviously. And he really used the curveball. He doubled up on the curveball usage today. I don't know if that's something they wanted to try, if it was just matchup based. I don't know, but he threw the curveball 20% of the time today. That's a 10% increase over his. So, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what that's about. We saw it a lot on the first pitch. And I think the Mets kind of made their adjustment to that. And that's where a lot of the hits came off of. So I don't know, George is just trying to feel something out. Maybe he felt good in the bullpen with that pitch, or maybe it was just purely matchup based, but it didn't work well enough today. So we'll see what happens. Just 11 whiffs total on him. So yeah, 6 hard hit balls in 4 innings, not great. But again, 9 hits, 6 of them were on medium to soft contact. So a little bit of bad luck mixed in with not so great sequencing from him kind of led to this game getting out of hand early. I'd say it happens, but it's happened 4 times in a row now. So it is definitely the level of concern certainly has to be there a little bit with George. I think his next start comes against Baltimore. We know how that goes. One of 2 ways. Either he's about to dominate the Orioles or the Orioles about to chase him in the second inning. There is no in between with George Kirby and the Baltimore Orioles. So we'll see.
I feel like the last couple of times there actually has been in between, but yeah.
I mean, like we just think of like he gave up like 8 in the second inning, 1 start, and then like obviously the Felix weekend start. 9 scoreless, only to lose 1-0.
Would a fan throw a ball at him? Remember that?
Yeah. Was that in that start?
That was in that start.
That was in the playoff. I thought that was in the Astros playoff start.
No. I'm pretty sure that was the Felix weekend game.
I thought that was the Astros playoff start in 2022, which he was very good in, by the way. But they need George Kirby to be a lot better, especially since they're a man short in the bullpen because of the 6-man or piggyback, now 6-man. He really can't keep hanging the bullpen out to dry like this, especially if he's going to pitch after Logan Gilbert.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And once again, if you never miss an episode, it's time to make it official. Join the Locked On Everydayer Club and get ad-free audio, access to our members-only Discord, and more, all built for our most loyal fans. For Colby Patnode, I'm Titan Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Titan Gonzalez and Colby at CPAT11. That's CPAT11. We're also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at TDG, Colby at MLB Colby, and the show at Locked On Mariners. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Locked On Mariners. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.